Partly cloudy skies, 73 degrees at 3:03. Good afternoon. I'm Susie Jones. We are following breaking news this afternoon. Minneapolis police on the scene of a shooting that has injured several people. WCCO Radio's Taylor Rivera is there. Taylor, what can you tell us?
Susie, we're seeing a Grand Caravan minivan with its back window shot out and smashed.
Susie, we're
at
seeing
least 2 bullet holes visible within the taped-off perimeter here near the AutoZone on Clinton Avenue in South Minneapolis. Multiple choppers are flying overhead, and neighborhood business owners and residents have gathered as well to try to piece together what happened. No official word on the number of injuries here. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara is expected to address the press here within the next hour. In South Minneapolis, I'm Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And we've just learned from Minneapolis police that one person has died. We'll continue to give you more information throughout the afternoon as that information becomes available. A showdown between the city of Minneapolis and a property owner who has allowed homeless people to camp on his parking lot on East Lake Street. Minneapolis Health Department Commissioner Damon Chaplin says the camp was cited for a number of violations, including a lack of water, a lack of sanitation facilities, plus improperly stored garbage and drug paraphernalia.
This is not the way we want our residents to live in the city of Minneapolis. And so it's a visual inspection of the property. We can see and take pictures of the property. We identified the sources of filth.
The landowner, Hamoudi Sabri, opened the camp early July and says he's being targeted for doing what the city won't do.
I am here just for the homeless. I believe they're abused. And the reason they're here is they've been kicked around a lot.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey has called for a closed-door meeting tomorrow with the city council to talk about the potential legal action they may or may not take. There are 2 Minnesota State Senate primary elections today, but turnout could be light. Appearing on the WCCO Morning News with Benita Soccer at the State Fair, Secretary of State Steve Simon points out there are some factors that keep people away from the polls this time of year.
Any election in August can be a challenge because Minnesotans do what they do in August, which is squeeze the last few drops out of summer. And it's a special election. It's not a regularly scheduled election. The combination means, let's face it, you're not going to have maybe droves and droves showing up.
And the Minnesota State Fair setting a record on Monday. Just over 145,000 people attended on Monday, breaking the old record by about 500 people. So far, the Great Minnesota Get Together has already drawn close to 820,000 people. Finally, I know the state fair is here, and typically, sadly, it means it's time for ragweed and pollen season. And this year, it's here with gusto.
Yeah, that's pretty common, and that's why this is the time of year. For the next 6 weeks until we have our first frost, pollen counts are pretty high.
That's Dr. Gary Berman with asthma and allergy specialist in Minneapolis. He says most people can find relief with over-the-counter medications and nose sprays. If not, he says it's important to see a doctor in the event that the allergy shots then might be necessary. WCCO News Time, 3:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
You're going to find some slowdowns as you travel toward the fairgrounds along Snelling Avenue. This update is brought by Postman Law. You're also going to it's going to be slow between Larpenteur and Energy Park Drive. You're also finding some slowdowns along Raymond Avenue and Como Avenue, just south of the fairgrounds. If you're going to be traveling 35, you'll be northbound heading up toward Highway 10. Accident working off to the right side. Some slowing as you make way through the area. If you're on the west side of the metro, got some heavier levels of traffic. 494 northbound Rockford Road heading up into the Fish Lake interchange. Injured, call 844-POSTMAN. If you've been hurt in an accident, don't wait. Call 844-POSTMAN today. With over $3 billion recovered for your clients, their clients, they're there to help you 24/7. Others promise, Postman delivers. Jerry Peterson, News Update, WCCO.
Mike Lynch here, and it goes without saying that Sweet Martha's cookies at the Minnesota State Fair are the best. But did you know you can have Sweet Martha's cookies year-round? That's right. Sweet Martha's Cookie Dough. All kinds of food department of your favorite grocery store.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And it is brought to you by Sweet Martha Cookies. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Another quiet night as our temperatures fall back to the upper 50s. Mix of sun and clouds tomorrow. This will be our warmest day with a high in the upper 70s. Now, there could be an isolated shower that pops in the evening. Better chance of that in western Wisconsin. Partly cloudy Thursday, a little cooler, high in the mid 70s. We stay dry right into Labor Day weekend, and we'll keep those highs just below average in the 70s.
All right, thanks, Chris. Right now, partly to mostly cloudy, 73 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
News that hits, that matters, conversations that grab you by the collar and don't let go. News Talk 830 WCCO.
On this thing, on this dog and pony show.
Takes here. Buckle up. This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Now, live from Minnesota's biggest microphone, here's Jason DeRusha.
Well, for all of you who thought it's a phony thing, it's a made for commerce love story. Just this afternoon, it has been amazing to watch this takeover, the news takeover, cable news. The internet has been taken over by the news that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. It's Jason. Welcome to Drive Time. We love on Drive Time with DeRusha. There's no question about it. Dan loves a love story. Susie Jones loves a love story. And I'm particularly fascinated by the opposites attract nature of this story. And I, for one, don't believe that opposites do attract. But I'll have to explain what I mean by that, because I do think we assign opposite to Taylor and Travis. You might look at me and my wife and say, these two are opposites. I'm extroverted, she's introverted. Taylor Swift, on her Instagram post announcing that she was getting engaged or she was getting married, says your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married, which sort of goes to that idea, right? Like that these two are opposites. I don't think they're opposites. I don't think Alyssa and I are opposites. I think we obsess about Taylor Swift is creative and artistic, and Travis Kelce is a big brute football player. And I'm a big mouth radio host, attention-seeking TV guy. And my wife is a banker. True opposites, I think, don't attract. True opposites are a train wreck. But when you can look past those sort of superficial things and find people that share the same vibes, the same values, well, are you really opposite? 651-461-9226. I'd love to hear your sort of conventional opposites attracting stories. Maybe your love story that people thought like, I don't think these two go together. Now, the reaction to this has been, I don't know, part of why I wanted to start with this is because the whole journey, I don't know, like we're sort of screwed up, right? We look at a celebrity love story. The reaction to these two has been absolutely crazy. Football fans mad that Taylor Swift is distracting from the coverage of the game, which is like the biggest load of crap ever. Travis Kelce fans worrying that, he's going to be distracted and his performance on the football field is going to be bad. To a certain degree, we think that like we own these people. We think we have some right to a piece of that. And of course, like these celebrities benefit from that too, right? I mean, our investment in their love story is part of what drives the podcast downloads when they're both on Travis Kelce and his brother's podcast, and it drives interest in record sales. But it is sort of laughable, like the people who think like, oh, well, finally, like, Taylor is just using this football star to help her fame. This woman is the most famous person on the planet. I don't think she's using this guy to try to get a little more attention. The reaction has been interesting, and I wonder if it's because there's a certain age where we like really get invested in and fall in love with music. So I want to play you a little bit of sound from a CBS News reporter who discovered this breaking news right before she was about to go on the air with a live report from the White House.
Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Come back to me. She just posted it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it's huge. The ring is ginormous. This is so exciting. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. Oh my God. 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 I feel like Paul Revere right now. Like this is a very exciting moment for me in my professional career because I get to announce that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. As you're talking to Joe Lang, our lovely producer, Gabby Ake, texted me and said, Taylor Swift's engaged, and you can see it right there on her social media. She put it up in that post.
It's so cute. I think it's so, well, first of all, like, this is a White House reporter. There's Olivia Rinaldi from CBS News. And I will say, like, I reached out. What is it with political reporters and their investment in this? I did reach out to Caroline Cummings, the state capitol reporter for Channel 4, because she was going out of her mind and she's a massive Taylor Swift fan. I suggested to her that she pace herself, don't OD on news about this too quickly. Opposites attract. I don't buy it. David's in Ham Lake on the CCO Talk and Text line. David, thanks for calling. Did you have a similar reaction to that White House reporter to this news?
No, I don't feel like they're opposites. I think they're both in the entertainment industry. They're both super ambitious. They're both super creative, out there doing interesting things. They're both very nice people. I think good people, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
They're more similar than dissimilar. So, no, opposite. Now, it's easy. Here's a big rough guy, and here's the beautiful young woman. Yeah, but that's always the case, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, often, right? Right. And sometimes I think when you see two people who are both ambitious, maybe that's something that's sort of different and is part of why people are attracted and interested in this story. I mean, obviously, these are two of the most famous people in the United States right now. But on top of it, like the fact that they are both, you got a guy who's been in the Super Bowl and been a Super Bowl champion and at the top of his level, and then to have the most famous musician in the world. There is something interesting about that, right?
Well, absolutely. And the one thing they have going for them is they understand each other. They may not have the exact same challenges, but they have very similar challenges. So when she has to be gone for a month on tour or something, he understands that because he does the same thing. A little different. He's on the road, but so they understand all those pressures and pulls and probably have learned, it seems, to accept it in each other, and they found a way to make it work. So, I think they're well suited.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Thanks, David. I appreciate that call. 651-461-9226. Lots of text coming in about this. Love to hear your reaction. And maybe you just don't get it. That is welcome to conversation too. Opposites attract. If we have any of those opposites out there, I'd love to hear your love story. In 10 minutes, we're going to talk about protesting in front of politicians' homes. That has come to the forefront again. because of an opinion piece that the mayor's wife, the mayor of Minneapolis' wife, wrote today. And I have thoughts on that. I've ended up in the middle of a controversy over that today, so we'll do that coming up at 3:30. Drive Time with DeRusha here on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha, live at the fair, presented by Andy's Grill. Hey, if you're heading out to the Great Minnesota Get-Together, be sure to meet at Andy's.
All right, Jason here for J.H. & Sons at the Galleria in Edina. I just got a text from a friend who said this weekend he went and dropped a good amount of money at J.H. & Sons, and the Halberstadt family and I thank you for that. The real gratifying thing about that text, though, was the incredible service experience that my buddy had at J.H. & Sons. And that is the differentiator. You can find you can't find great clothing everywhere. J.H. & Sons has top of the top, incredible fabrics, incredible design. They'll get you hooked up for work. They'll get you hooked up if you have weddings coming up or special events, or if you're just looking for a nice upgrade and an outfit to wear out on the town. Like this weekend, I was wearing a jacket from J.H. & Sons. Straight up love it. The differentiator, it is the people. Old school service. They will take care of you. They'll make sure that clothing fits you like a glove, that you feel comfortable, you feel confident, and that's what J.H. & Sons can do for you. Experience the difference. I really want you to go in person. Go check them out. They're at the Galleria right in Edina, and you can sign up for their email list, so you'll be the first to know about in-store events or special sales at jhandsons.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
How long do you think it would take for your home to sell? Have you ever tried to figure that out? It's Benita here. There are some people who sell theirs within days. That's awesome. But it's all too common for it to take months and months and months. For the people that seem to have a for sale sign in their yard forever, chances are they hired the wrong real estate agent. You need to work with my buddy, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Matt and Sarah hired John, and this time, after struggling with another real estate agent, they didn't have time to sit around and wait. John's marketing system reaches thousands of potential buyers. They got the cash offer they wanted. You can too. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and every customer. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Texture says this has been going on since forever. The jock and the cheerleader. You have to have a common base, but you can be opposite in small ways. That's called complementing each other. I do think this is different from the jock and the cheerleader. I think that Taylor Swift is a CEO of an empire. To me, it's different. It would be very predictable if it were a jock and a cheerleader. This in this story, what's amazing to me, and I'm not sure, like, I haven't fully processed it, Dan. I'm not sure if it's the end of society, the fact that the president of the United States was just asked to weigh in on this, or if it's just a charming little distraction. I don't know. It's a little weird, right?
It's probably somewhere in between, right? I mean, the reason he's being asked is because it wasn't that long ago he sent out a truth kind of ripping Taylor, and so this is a press member trying to see if he'll say something.
See what he'll say.
Yeah.
And listen to Donald Trump, the wizard. You think I changed my position on issues? The president of the United States, who earlier this month said he can't stand her, said she used to be hot, and now she's not. Here he is today. Huh? What? That is the correct response.
That's exactly what you want him to say. Yeah.
Just sort of hilarious. Sort of hilarious. Now, Texter's asking still, I question if any of this is even real. I've never really understood that line of thinking. Because, like, which of these two really needs the boost from the other? That's, like, I guess that's the part of this I don't understand. The people that think this is just a fraud and it's all for publicity. Are we so cynical that we can't accept that, like, perhaps these two people actually like each other?
Yes, we are.
It seems like they really
I
like
think
each
there's
other.
no question.
And if you watch the podcast, when she was on his podcast, and I don't think she's ever done a podcast before.
I think that was the hook.
And you could tell, like, how sweet he is and thoughtful and how much they really adore each other.
You used the word vibes earlier, and I think that's the word when you talk about that appearance on the podcast. It's difficult to define what makes a good couple when you look at a pair and say, oh yeah, they're good together.
Yes.
But we all know it when we see it. And, again, maybe they're both fabulous acters and the texture is right and this is all a work, but boy, they sure looked like a couple who really fit well together.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Now, this idea of opposites attract is such a common, it's such a commonly accepted thing. And I think it's just because we on the outside do not, and frankly, a lot of people while they're dating, you focus on these surfacey things because you don't know the person yet. You don't know the values. You don't know the soul. So Alyssa and I always object when people will talk about us as opposites attractive because we just don't think of ourselves as opposites. We have the same values. We were brought up by similar parents. The importance of family. We're both Catholic. We both believe that children have to be independent and have to fail, and we can't fix all their messes. Like, a lot of these things are these are not opposites just because, like, she's kind of quiet in a crowd and I love the people. That doesn't make us opposite.
Right.
So
Right.
I think often we look at that on the outside where you're like, oh, opposites attract. Like, I'm tall, she's short. You're like, well, I guess, but that's not a significant thing going forward.
I think it speaks to the human situation where it's really easy for us to find a comfort level as individuals and just sort of be there. And yet there's something innate inside all of us that thinks, no, I've got to grow beyond this a little bit. I've got to find somebody that's going to push me in some ways and stretch me in some ways. And that if you find the opposite of you, that's obviously going to do that.
Yeah.
But I think you nailed it. It's that, while there can be surface oppositeness, is that even a word? I just made it up. It's core stuff that has to be there. You guys are simpatico. And then, then you can learn and experience different things. We saw obviously with Taylor and Travis that she knew absolutely nothing about football whatsoever. And now, she's a big fan, and she's brought how many millions of young women into being okay being in the NFL.
I do like what Gel said on our live YouTube stream at WCCO Radio, that it's common dislikes what bring couples together. Sometimes that's true, right? I do think it's part of the problem with dating app culture, because dating app culture lets you drill down on the surfacey things, and so you may eliminate people who will be opposites. I often say that if I were asked to kind of check boxes and pick what kind of person I want to spend my life with, I never would have checked the boxes that would have led me to Alyssa. And what a train wreck of a life I would have had if that were the case. So it is difficult to sort of, in this, I don't want to say like a paint by numbers dating culture that we have, but it sort of is like that. I want someone this tall. I want someone making this much money. And I want someone whatever. That it's, I don't know. I think people are missing out on some pretty great connection that maybe you do share the thing beneath the surface. On this show, we cheer for love. So congratulations. Although I will say, my friend Jana, who longtime listeners of this radio station may know, Jana was Chad's producer for a number of years. She announced on Instagram today that she was engaged. And I see this morning.
That's rough timing.
If you got engaged today, what the hell, man? Like, you thought you were waiting. You're like, I'm going to announce it on a Tuesday. Like, that'll be good. I'm going to post it. And then you're like, freaking Taylor Swift. You're like, if you already hate Taylor Swift and she one-upped your engagement, Jenna was not pleased. Not pleased at all. We'll break. When we come back, do you think there is ever a circumstance that people should protest outside a politician's home? We'll talk about that when we come back here on Drive Time with DeRusha.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Minnesota State Fair lost and found? No, your left sock is not here yet.
Every year at the Great Minnesota Get-Together, it's pretty amazing what Minnesotans lose.
State Fair lost and found? What? You lost your Fitbit in a bucket of Sweet Martha's cookies? So did you lose it or did you lose it?
Don't worry. WCCO is on the scene, broadcasting live from a regular spot just down from Ye Old Mill, helping fans find what they didn't know they'd lost. Sanity.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we found it, kid. Answers to Lil Pickle, currently double fisting mini donuts watching DeRusha.
Whatever you lose, your keys, your cash, your dignity, come find an oasis of great conversation and free fun with us. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want that silly little thing, my advice is get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call me now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
Storm season is here. That means nature's fury will cause damage to your roof. When it does, that's when you call Brian Job Brothers Construction. Because they're local, they offer same-day, Twin City-wide emergency service. Job Brothers Construction will repair or replace your roof from nature's wrath. They'll also work with your insurance company to ensure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Brian and his team truly take the hassle out of a terrible situation. Working with Brian and his crew will give you peace of mind because it was done right. Just contact Joe Brothers Construction for a no-obligation, free, and full inspection.
Contact them online at joebrothersconstruction.com. That's J-O-B-E, Joe Brothers Construction, handling all your roofing, siding, window, and gutter needs. They'll even repair your roof from fallen trees. Joe Brothers Construction. They get the job done right.
Construction problems come with challenges, but legal issues shouldn't be one of them. At Helmuth and Johnson, we focus on construction law, protecting contractors, developers, and business owners from costly disputes. From contract negotiations to litigation and compliance, we make sure your projects stay on track and your interests stay protected. Whether it's a delay, a dispute, or a deal, we've got you covered. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth and Johnson, on your side, at your side.
Grown-ups, aren't Sundays more fun without, can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 30 for lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can earn the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your week and wind up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid, because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1 day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Candula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought by Chef IQ. Sounds crash working north 494 as you make way toward the Fish Lake interchange off to the left side. Get ready for your slowdowns as you come off from Rockford Road. You'll be trailing on the east side of the metro. Southbound 35 Eastern Maryland Avenue. Accident working there. Look for the left lane to be affected at this point. And the slowdown's coming down from Roselawn. 252 northbound got some heavy stuff as moving between 694 heading up toward Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer that perfectly cooks your food. The Chef IQ probe is inserted into your food and connects to the Chef IQ app to ensure you never under or overcook your food. It's that simple. Order now on chefiq.com with code word WCCO for 15% off. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn-McCreevy Funeral Chapels and Cremation Services has been providing compassionate and personalized service for over 160 years. Honor your loved one and ensure your own wishes are met. Call 612-377-2203 or visit washburnmccreevy.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
The forecast is brought to you by Washburn-McCreevy Funeral, Cremation, and Pre-Planning Services. Here's Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Our fall-like vibe rolls on, mainly clear overnight, falling back to 58. A partly cloudy day tomorrow, the warm one with a high of 79. That's average for this time of year. There may be an isolated shower that pops in the evening, but most of you listening will stay dry. Back to the sunshine Thursday, 75 the high. Expect highs to stay in the 70s right into the weekend.
Right now in downtown Minneapolis and at the State Fairgrounds, it is 75 and cloudy here on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha, video streaming live on YouTube and always, and I mean always, on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
End of the summer, coming back to work. It is a great time to consider hanging out with me for the after work happy hour over at the Minneapolis Club. Proud member, love being a part of it. Social club right downtown. They've got all sorts of events. I'm going to moderate a conversation with the publisher of the Star Tribune coming up next month, but their patio and their bar and their restaurant is called Charlie's. It's open for dinner. Anybody wants to check it out. So if you want to learn more about it, you can go to mplsclub.org, or you just like search for Charlie's and you can make an appointment. Pretty cool. Right up the street from us, right here in downtown. Reminder, we are covering breaking news on CCO this afternoon. There was a midday, just brutal shooting at East Lake Street and Clinton Avenue, right where 35W and Lake come together. Early reports, and we're getting an update over the last couple of minutes coming in from the Minneapolis police chief, and Taylor Rivera is out on the scene. But the early report is that it appears to be targeted, but it was like a massive barrage of gunshots. I mean, this is outrageous, right? This is 1:30 in the afternoon, right by an AutoZone, right by Cristo Rey Jesuit High School, at about 30 rounds fired before the shooter hightailed out of there in a vehicle. Lots of cameras in that area. Police say they're tracking down leads, so we'll have the latest for you at the top of the hour. I don't think there is ever a circumstance where anyone should protest outside a politician's home. No circumstance for me ever warrants that invasion, especially considering what happened in this state not that long ago. The reason I'm talking about this today is that the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry, his wife, wrote a piece, an opinion piece in the Star Tribune, because there is a protest planned for outside their house, outside their apartment building, condo building in northeast Minneapolis. So Sarah Clark writes, what I think under most circumstances and to most of you is a totally obvious viewpoint. But if you disagree, I want to hear about it at 651-461-9226. No matter how much you disagree with a politician, there are places that you can protest. You want to protest the mayor? You can go to City Hall. You can go to an event that he's speaking at. You can go in front of a police station. You can go to a city of Minneapolis or Minneapolis Park Board Park. There are lots of public places you could go. I have even spoken on the fact that I don't like when protesters kind of take over public spaces or take over public streets. But on the scheme of things, I would much rather protesters do that than showing up outside people's homes. Melissa and Mark Ortman were killed by a guy that showed up at their house. If you're a politician, Republican or Democrat in this state right now, are you answering your door? I don't think so. People are on edge. And so to stage a protest or plan a protest outside any elected official's apartment building, I just find to be incredibly tone deaf, incredibly egotistical, obnoxious, outrageous, frightening. I'm not one of those people that just because I disagree with your tactics, it makes me dismiss your viewpoint. I understand why people would look at this and be like, you guys are nuts. Sarah writes, our home has been surveilled with photos and videos taken through our windows. It has been vandalized. The words "kill the mayor" have been scrawled across our front door repeatedly. She says, I support the right to peaceful protest, but there is a profound difference between voicing dissent in public spaces and bringing that dissent to the doorstep of elected officials, family, home. To me, there's no reason ever to protest in front of somebody's home. There just isn't. What is the goal other than to intimidate and to strike fear? If you do something that we disagree with, we're taking it to your house. To me, this is an ongoing breakdown of our ability to separate the person, the humanity from the politics, the individual from the issue. And I don't want to pass a law that makes it illegal, but I do want people to knock it off. Tim is in St. Paul, and he has a different viewpoint. Tim, thanks for listening, and thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yes, hi. I think there are a few exceptions where it would be permissible. Well, if the politician commits treasonous acts would be one. Now, I get a personal situation where I'm part of the CenturyLink settlement, and I called the Attorney General's office, get this, 58 times, and they have not called me back. I got so mad, I went there in person. I got stopped at the escalator, and they wouldn't let me in. This is like a month or so ago, and they cited the pandemic, which is a bunch of crap. There's no pandemic going on right now.
Right.
And if you can't get in touch with them somehow, there's got to be a way you can get in touch with them. And by the way, I've called the governor's office 9 times, and they haven't called me back either. So something's rotten in Denmark here. That's all I got to say about that.
Do you think, Tim, that maybe it's, is it the volume of calls that they're like, this guy's unhinged, or what do you think it is?
No, I've been polite and professional. They know I don't agree with how they run things. They know I'm not a Democrat, and they don't want to deal with me.
So if you're all right, though, with certain circumstances that align with your views in protesting at a home, then would you support, say, these are largely leftist, socialist type groups? Would you support them taking it to Jacob Fry's house then?
Well, that's kind of like a big clown fest there. I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous. Their own kind can't even get along. It's they're extremely radical. If they want to, that's their prerogative, I guess.
Yeah.
I think they're nuts, but yeah, if they want to do it, there does have to be some reasonable limits, though. They, I call them demon rats. They cross the line.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, in many cases.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. 651-461-9226. One texter says there should be a law about protesting at the homes of public officials. Otherwise, our best people will never run for office. I just don't think you can have a law. The Constitution protects political speech, despite the fact that we're trying to make it a crime to burn the U.S. flag. The Constitution protects political speech. So protesting a mayor that is political speech. It has the most protection. Now, we always weigh things, and weighing your safety versus the speech, for me, that's a no. Like, I'm not in favor of a law that would ban it. I just am not. I don't think we've seen enough where that weight would be in balance of prohibiting a place to assemble in a public space. I just don't think so. But I get why people feel that way. And when I posted about this today, Dan, the pushback, you get it from all over the place. Some people want to play this like, well, the mayor's wife is speaking out about this. Where was she when XYZ? Which I just think is the dumbest form of discourse ever. Like, just address the issue.
Yep. She doesn't have to be out there commenting every single time.
No, we comment about things that we want to comment about. That's your...
I also thought that the arguments that came back at you about, well, the mayor's out there bulldozing homeless encampments, so he shouldn't get to feel comfortable in his home either, was highly disingenuous.
It's just people have lost the ability to separate these two things. And I think this is one of the largest issues we have in political discourse, that people cannot discuss disagreeing with someone without making it so intensely personal that political opponent is now your literal enemy. And so all tactics are on the table.
I do think that there's something of a danger of overcorrection And I know you said you're not looking to have a law.
I don't want a
here.
law. I don't think that's the right thing to do.
But in general, not you, in general, if you start restricting, okay, you can't protest here and we're going to increase security at the Capitol so you can't get at your politicians there, do we honestly lose, to Tim's point, do we honestly lose the ability to address our problems with the lawmakers who may be causing or unwittingly causing problems for us? That's a problem too.
Yeah.
I don't like at all the idea that Mayor Fry and his family, are feeling unsafe. I don't like anybody feeling unsafe in their home. And like you talked about, balance is the key thing. How do we balance that with the public's need to be able to address public officials?
Yeah, I think part of our responsibility and the responsibility of people who are passionate and want to protest things is to listen and to pay attention to the world as it is today. And so perhaps 10 years ago, when we did not have a real example of someone who appears to have been politically motivated coming to politicians' homes and killing them, that perhaps at that time you could make a case and say, like, well, when you get into public office, part of the deal is that you might get protested. I just think things have changed. The real world reality of what happened here in Minnesota changes things. And if you are someone who's a protester, get a clue. Do it somewhere else. Do it somewhere else. I don't think that is too much to ask. And I do think in this case, the mayor's wife is asking. I am asking. I'm not proposing a law. The public streets are public. Once you start saying, like, no, you can't be on this sidewalk to protest because this address is registered to this politician, I think you got problems there. But asking for people to be mindful of the reality, I think it's a no-brainer. We're going to break. It is Twins Ticket Tuesday. So when you hear that Win Twins sound effect, caller number 3, maybe you're bored this Saturday night. You want to go to a Twins game. We got a 4-pack of tickets for you to go. Beautiful night, beautiful weather, Target Field. Let's go. San Diego Padres. Who doesn't have Padres fever? Come on over. So caller 3 when we play the thing. Twins pregame at 5:30 right here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, this morning I had to reach out to the Canopy Group because I'm an empty nester. I had one teenage driver left on my active driving at home policy. And he's off at college, so I reached out to the Canopy Group. You should reach out to the Canopy Group at thecanopygroup.com. So I reached out a couple years ago to find out if I could get a good deal on insurance. They ran my scenario through 16 different companies. For years, I just went to one agent with one company. Now I got 40 agents with 16 companies. The Canopy Group saved me $820 and got me better coverage. So today, I took Sam off the policy. Well, he's on the away at school designation now. You know how much I saved today? $1,000. Now, paying for college is expensive, but at least saving some money on insurance softens the blow. Reach out to the local experts. They will take care of you, I promise. TheCanopyGroup.com.
Thielen Meats of Pierce is where tradition meets taste.
Family grown, employee owned. We've mastered the art of meat.
That's why we're the #1 meat market in Minnesota.
And we're located right here in Pierce.
Check out our mouthwatering selection at thielenmeats.com.
Better yet, stop in and see for yourself. We're serving up love one cut at a time.
Thielen Meats, from our family to your feast.
No meals complete without Thielen Meats
of Pierce.
It's State Fair time again, and that means awesome new products at great prices. And Mini Leaf is getting in on the fun. Right now, Mini Leaf is offering a buy 2, get 1 free on all products. So buy 2 Sleep Night gummies, get 1 free. Buy 2 Triple Diamond Pain Cream pods, get 1 free. You get the gist. Mini Leaf's products are of exceptional quality and 100% natural. Just go to minileaf.com to check out all of their products. MINNELEAF.com, the home of Minnesota's best legal products, and also the sponsor of the Doobie Dabbler, happening September 5th and 6th at Seavers Festival Grounds in Shakopee. Thanks to our friends at Minileaf. Remember, buy 2, get 1 free at minileaf.com.
Minileaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Advantage Seamless Gutters is now Advantage Home Pros. New look, same pros. Still locally owned and now taking care of all your gutter and roofing needs. Don't spend your weekends on a ladder cleaning your gutters when you could be spending time with family and planning that summer trip. Trust your local gutter pros, Advantage Home Pros. Now your local custom roofing pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials, our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob! I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Between here on Boulevard and downtown Minneapolis, Highway 36, you're going to find that gummed up between Highway 280 and Lexington up on the northwest corner. Still got a couple cars up behind from the crash. 494 northbound near Fish Lake Road. Traffic is still a bit slow as you come up from Bass Lake Road. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hungry? Go to Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan for real Texas barbecue. All meats smoked fresh in-house daily. You can dine in, take out, have it delivered, or have your event catered anywhere in the metro. Just go to Dickeys.com. Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan, the Twin Cities catering leader.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Dickey's Barbecue Pit of Egan bringing us forecast tonight, 58 degrees. Open those windows and sleep the night away. Tomorrow, 79. Isolated evening shower possible right after we're off the air at the fair. And then Thursday, 75. Right now, it is 75 on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
All my life, waiting for somebody. Come and take my hand. All my life, waiting.
All right, last night was my first night as an empty nester. Alyssa and I went out and had a drink and had some dinner. And like most transition moments in life, there's not like a major on-off switch that happens. Seth goes off the airport. Sam got dropped off last week. Now it's just Alyssa and I in our house. But there was a little moment. It's the little moments, I think, that define these transitions. And the little moment happened when we walked up to bed last night around 10 o'clock. And Alyssa went first, ladies first. And I looked at the door and said, I guess we don't have to close the door to our bedroom. For 20 years, we've been closing the door because there's been somebody outside the door. Last night, nobody was outside the door. Did I cry last night about being an empty nester? No. But I did find myself crying this morning while I was reading Dan Hayes' article about Louis Varland being traded away, which I think maybe there may be a relationship there. hometown kid got sent away, and I was all the emotions.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
All right, now is your time. Livia has their best deals of the summer happening now, and they're not going to last. They are not going to last, just like that extra weight is not going to last. It's Jason. For Livia Weight Control Centers, yesterday at the fair, a woman came up to me and was like, Jason, I lost 40 pounds on Livia thanks to you, that I inspired her to join. I lost 45 pounds. Here, 2.5 years later, I've kept all that weight off. She kept her weight off as well. It's the team approach. Livia is the gold standard, doing it for more than 15 years. Okay, right now, 50% off that nutrition program that I used. You could lose up to 10 pounds or more in your first 2 weeks. Meds, if you're into GLP-1s, you're curious, they start at $149 a month. The beauty of Livia is that it works together. The medical weight loss in conjunction with the nutrition support. For me, it was the team approach. I had people cheering for me every step of the way. You will too. Livia.com, Livea.com, or call 855-GO-LIVIA.
Our voices, your voices on the voice of Minnesota. News Talk 830 WCCO and 1029 HD2.
One more hour now.
It's 1 hour at a time.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Matt Piper. He fired her last night, but President Trump says a member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors needs to go.
President Trump insists Lisa Cook should be fired for cause.
She seems to have an infraction, and she can have an infraction, especially that infraction, because she's in charge of, if you think about it, mortgages.
Cook and her attorney deny allegations of mortgage fraud, saying Trump's attempt to fire her, quote, based solely on a referral letter, lacks any factual or legal basis. The president has criticized the Fed, which has kept interest rates unchanged, adding once he gets a majority on the board.
Housing is going to swing.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Several homes have been destroyed by a wildfire in Central Oregon, but authorities say rain has helped them start to stabilize it. Elsewhere, a fire in Northern California wine country has so spared some of the state's most famous vineyards. Carter Evans is there.
A lot of this fire is in really rough, steep terrain, and there is a concern about smoldering debris rolling down the hill and ending up starting a new fire outside of the fire line. So what they've been doing is putting chicken wire there to catch any potential flaming debris that might come down.
A federal judge throws out the Trump administration's challenge that bars federal immigration officials from immediately removing migrants who are challenging the legality of their detentions. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum.
The court ruled that co-equal branches of government don't sue each other in order to get their way. The Trump administration could have appealed each of the immigration rulings with which it disagreed, but here it attempted to enjoin all the federal judges in Maryland from interfering with deportation orders.
Our Michael Wallace reports that Lilly will file for FDA approval of a pill form of its weight loss drugs.
In the drug maker's latest clinical trial of pill forms of Zepbound and Mounjaro, overweight or obese people who are diabetic lost 22 pounds over 72 weeks. Dr. Louis Aroni is a consultant for Lilly.
So it's easier to make, doesn't have to be refrigerated. It's going to be significantly less expensive to produce.
A change at a golfing annual tradition.
I had more than 80 years come up to me and say,
the Masters tournament has been a rite of spring.
The Masters is moving away from inviting PGA Tour fall winners and will now invite the winners of 6 tournaments around the world. world. It's considered a big change for the Masters, which has invited winners of weaker fall events since the PGA went to a so-called wraparound season in 2013. And as CBS's Jim Nantz has so often said,
Hello, friends. Welcome to this tradition unlike any other.
That's correspondent Jim Krasula. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Partly cloudy skies, 74 degrees now at 4:03. Good afternoon. I'm Susie Jones. We continue to follow breaking news this afternoon out of South Minneapolis. An intense and emotional scene there where one person was killed, several others wounded in a shooting. It happened near 29th and Clinton in the Phillips neighborhood. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara.
In the middle of the day, a gunman armed with a high-velocity .223 rifle opened fire on a group of people on the sidewalk on the block behind me, directly across the street from a Catholic high school. That gunman wound up killing one person and wounding 6 others that were standing on the sidewalk.
We spoke to a woman whose son works at AutoZone, which is very near to the shooting. She had actually come by to see that her son was okay, which he was, but hearing news of the fatality, she broke down.
Just frustrated, exhausted. I grew up in this city and it's changing so much.
The chief says they believe the gunman got off more than 20 rounds before taking off in a car. They say they do have evidence and are following up on leads. Still, anyone with information is asked to call 911. Time could be running out for dozens of people living in a homeless encampment on East Lake Street in South Minneapolis.
Private property owner Hamoudi Sabri is staring down potential legal action and hefty fines as the city has declared the encampment on his land a public health nuisance, citing a litany of issues including trash, human waste, and drug paraphernalia. Yet Sabri has publicly stood firm on his decision not to remove the encampment.
It's easy for people to find them, to feed them, to help them, to medical them. So that's a place for them to be. So for them to keep kicking them around and trying to kick it here, they have not been successful. The mayor will never be successful.
In South Minneapolis, I'm Taylor Rivera. News Talk 830. WCCO.
Minnesota voters in 2 Senate districts are going to the polls today. The first is for the seat held by Republican State Senator Bruce Anderson, who died unexpectedly last month. In that heavily Republican district, voters will choose between Rachel Davis, Michael Holmstrom Jr., and Bradley Kurtz. Democrat Lewis is running unopposed. The second race in Senate District 47, vacant since State Senator Nicole Mitchell resigned after being convicted of burglary. 2 DFLers are vying for that spot. University of Minnesota political science professor Larry Jacobs says it's likely the outcome will stay the same, but
perhaps there will be an upset in November and the Democrats might lose the seat formerly held by Nicole Mitchell, which would give the Republicans 1 seat majority. So there's a lot at stake.
The polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. And finally, there's been some speculation that if Governor Walz does not seek a 3rd term, that maybe Attorney General Keith Ellison would throw his hat into the ring. Speaking with WCCO's Chad Hartman today at the fair, this was his response.
Tim is a wonderful governor, and as long as he's the governor, he's the governor. I have a great job. I like doing my job. My job is amazingly fun, and I'm going to deal with changes when they come.
Pressed further by Chad, Ellison remained vague, saying he has interest in being the AG for Minnesota.
We have Steve Simon this morning with Vanita. Like, what do we think these guys are going to say?
No,
you know what? Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing if one of them just said, like, you know what? If he doesn't run, I'm in.
Yeah. How about a real answer? Nobody just gives, because part of it is
the
like
politics of that is a disaster.
A disaster. And also, I think they want a big hoo-ha. You know,
Oh,
Governor
for
Walz, if he decides to run again, he's going to have a big hoo-ha. Big song.
But then I asked Mayor Carter the other day, would you run?
And
he's like, well, he So afterwards, he's like, I'm hosting a fundraiser for him in a couple of weeks, so I'm pretty sure he's still running. I don't know. But none of these guys are going to say, like, yes, I'm running.
Like, remember when Amy Klobuchar decided to run for president when it was snowing to beat the band down by the river, and
So
she had
good.
about 5 inches of snow on her head?
They love the theater of it. But also, if you say that you're going to run, and then the governor decides he's going to run again, then you look like
A fool. A dweeb.
It would be fun if someone was like, yeah, I'd run.
Yeah, maybe I'll run, Jason.
I'm not ruling it out.
All right.
Which party will I run? Who knows?
That's the tricky part. Listen, I think we should do traffic and weather because I think you have a guest.
Let's do it.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by Postman Law. Headed to the fair, you'll find the park and ride.
Who do you have on now?
We'll give you some limited
It's
spots.
a guy from Hennepin County about homelessness.
Parking around the fairgrounds
Old apropos with that
fairground
East
lot.
Lake Street encampment.
There, so you shouldn't have too much of a hassle in regards to that. There's congestion
know why-
along
I don't know what you're
and
supposed to do in
Snowing
this
Avenue,
situation.
jammed up
There's
to
certain
Larkender
events, like a Trump
and
conference,
Main
a lot
Gate.
of
You're going to be traveling across town. Get ready for your slowdown.
Like, what if I wanted to turn my St. Louis Park house into a homeless house? I got about 4 empty spots. I could put people all over the place. I would just say you have to shower and brush your teeth every day.
With over
I'd
3
like to know, like, how can we get?
they're there for
What are we supposed to do with these things?
Well, it's tricky business
livers. Trey Peterson, talk ATO.
because I can't talk.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the
That's a
next
really
2
interesting
days
story, but I don't have
with
time.
your CCO forecast.
And here is WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Another quiet night.
Real quick, I interviewed a guy who got a new house through Hennepin County and the Hennepin County
This will be our
program.
warmest day.
Go meet him at his apartment.
Now,
He has
there's
a
a
mattress on his
shower
bedroom
that
floor
pops
and a
in the
lawn
evening. Better
chair.
chance of that.
I said, "How's it going?" And he goes, "Well, it kind
Partly
of
cloudy
sucks. I
Thursday,
really miss my
high in
friends."
the 70s. We stay dry
It's
right into
lonely.
the weekend. We'll keep those highs just below average in the 70s.
All right, thanks, Chris. Right now, partly to mostly cloudy, 74 degrees. Who's talk 830 WCCO.
For hot dish,
Social scene, community.
830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
Well, you just heard in the news, Susie talking about a battle with the city of Minneapolis and a homeless encampment. We maybe haven't been talking as much about homelessness as we were at the peak of the pandemic. And some of that, well, I wanted to know why. And is that because we're making progress or is that because we've just moved on? And so to get some insight, we have the Director of Housing Stability for Hennepin County, David Hewitt, is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Let's just start there, David. Are we making progress? Is that why this is sort of less in the center of the public eye right now?
Well, good afternoon, and yeah, thanks for having me on, and thanks for the question. I mean, the answer in short is on a daily basis, we and our nonprofit partners in the community are making progress, stopping people falling into homelessness, getting people out of homelessness and into housing. Now, the numbers that are in crisis are so great that sometimes doesn't feel super visible on a day-to-day basis. But if we look out over that period of time, and like you said, we look back to the pandemic, then we actually see that the number of people experiencing unsheltered homelessness in particular in our community has decreased significantly, even as across the rest of the nation it has increased. And that doesn't happen by accident. We tie that to really having person-focused, housing-focused supports for people to help them get out of that situation, get them to somewhere more stable. So there's a lot of work still to be done. There's a lot of people still in crisis, but the progress we make on a daily basis gives us all a lot of energy to keep doing it.
David Hewitt is with Hennepin County, the Director of Housing Stability. So how many people are you getting off the streets into more permanent housing? Because these encampments have been... encampments are so tricky because the people who are there, look, everybody wants to have affordable housing and be in a home, but I do think there's a social component to these encampments that makes them partially attractive for people, that they want to be around their friends. They want to follow the rules the way they want to do it instead of the way, a shelter would have it. And then there is a question of, do we have enough room for, to have housing for people in the encampment? So these are tricky situations, aren't they?
Certainly very complex, and there are different ways that you get people off the streets. You mentioned shelter there, and on any given night, there will be some 1,600 children, women, and men using emergency shelters in Hennepin County to avoid being on the streets or to get off of the streets. And over the course of the year, last year, more than 9,000 people used emergency shelter in our community. But emergency shelter, people are still experiencing homelessness there, and that's not our end goal. Our end goal is get people into housing. And we've looked at the number of people across all of our community's work, all of our nonprofit partners ourselves, who are moving from homelessness to a permanent housing situation each year. And we've seen it increase year on year. In 2021, it was 1,384 people. The next year, 1,844. The next year, 2,171. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers out.
Right.
The bottom line is in 2024, more than 2,500 people exited those situations, moved into permanent housing. And that was a more than 80% increase on what we were doing just a few years ago. And that's why we've been able to make progress.
Is some of this because last year we had a spike in people who needed emergency housing that was immigration related? Has the crackdown, without like expressing a policy position on what the right way to deal with illegal immigration into this country is, I wonder if there's been some benefit of the fact that there has been a federal crackdown and a lot of attention paid to that issue of people coming here illegally.
Well, first of all, to your point about the policy question, for us, homelessness is just homelessness. It doesn't matter what brought people to that crisis. We want to make sure that nobody is sleeping outside in the coldest large county in the United States. And it is the case that we operate a shelter all policy for families with children so that no child sleeps outside. And we did expand family shelter capacity in response to some of the pressures that you're describing. And those pressures have reduced somewhat. But I don't think, to your question, that is what explains the increase in the pace at which we're moving people from all kinds of homeless situations into housing. That is really down to person-focused case management. It's down to creating permanent supportive housing options that work for people who have had challenges in the past.
David, I've read you guys talking about that, and you just mentioned that phrase, person-centered approach. What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, it means, sometimes people will say, well, we've got a situation here, there's 30 people, where are they supposed to go? And the answer in most cases is 30 different options that are really tailored to that individual. What resources do they have? What are their needs? Who has the right kind of opening for them? And how quickly can we connect them to it? So it's really about meeting people where they're at and having somebody to walk alongside them and help them navigate the system to get to a solution that works for them. And what we see when we do that is we have results. I've thrown out some big numbers in terms of how many people move out of homelessness. Perhaps the more important figure is that more than 90% of folks who exit homelessness don't come back in, because we really want to focus on making homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring. We don't want people coming back through. Yeah. And we believe that being person-centered and tailored is the way to do that.
What do we do about the money situation? Because obviously, when you're dealing with as you call it, person-centered, but it's one person at a time, this is not inexpensive work. And obviously, pandemic era money was dedicated to fighting homelessness. The state approved $1 billion in 2023. But a lot of this was one-time money, and we definitely have a different spending approach at the federal government right now.
That's absolutely the case. What I'll say is, in terms of when the one-time money was available, getting those folks into housing, those bring long-term benefits to our community. That number of people off the streets, that is a long-lasting benefit. Of course, moving forward, if we look at the amount of homeless prevention money we have from the state, it will be significantly less in the coming biennium than the last biennium, and you cannot prevent the same amount of evictions with a smaller number of dollars. So those larger social and economic factors, we will be basically having to prioritize and really focus and continuously improve what we're doing. But yeah, there's no doubt that during a time when we had additional resources, we were able to help more people more competently.
Yeah. It's concerning for sure. Obviously, we don't want to go backwards here. certainly with the progress that's being made. And the reality is having people without housing, having homeless people in encampments, in neighborhoods is, well, it's illegal. And it's nightmare stuff for people who live in those neighborhoods also. So trying to figure out a compassionate way to deal with that is so important, so important.
And homelessness is incredibly expensive in other ways to our communities, to our services.
Yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
we have mantra of we don't want to go backwards. We've made improvements to the shelter system, improvements to the way in which people are supported with dignity and respect, and we want to keep those elements as much as we can as we move into this new phase as well. Knowing we're in a much better position, we have a much better system than we did pre-pandemic.
Really appreciate your work and the team out there trying to do this in a compassionate way. David Hewitt, Director of Housing Stability for Hennepin County. Thanks for the update, David.
Thank you so much.
When we come back, the president wants to prosecute flag burners. What do you think about that? I have complicated feelings about it. We'll discuss it when I come back.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Friday night, State Fair. I'm there with Alyssa and Seth, and you know where we had to stop. We had to go to Andy's Grill, which is just an unbelievable classic. It's Jason here from my friends at Andy's Grill, who have been so supportive of us on Drive Time the last couple of years. They've been with us, and they're all about family tradition. 4 generations of family at Andy's Grill. And you feel it when you walk in there. You feel it. Now, new drinks, they've got. They got the Hurricane, they got the Orange Bliss, they've got the Pineapple Upside Down Cake Slushy, which you have got to try this slushy. And that is sort of the new thing at the State Fair, these slushies everywhere. That slushy's from Lithbridge. We're going to have Brad from Lithbridge on the show out at the State Fair tomorrow, right? Thursday. What day is it? Who am I? Where am I? Thursday. It's delicious. It's delicious. But they've got so many long-time employees, and that family-owned flavor is something you want to be a part of. Andy's Grill's been at the State Fair since 1983. Families come back year after year because it's awesome. Check them out at Carnes and Liggett. You can get the Everything Philly, which is delicious too. Andy's Grill, home of the chocolate chip cookie beer. Check it out at the State Fair.
A picture is worth 1,000 words. And if you want to sell your home for the most money possible, the right exterior photographs can get you thousands of dollars more. Contact my friend, the Good Neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home next year, those pictures might be taken in the winter, and your home is just not going to look as warm and inviting if there's snow on the ground. This month only, John will send out his professional exterior photographer, and it's going to let you show off your home while your lawn and garden are looking their best. No out-of-pocket costs. Also, a free staging consultation if you sign up this month. No obligation to hire John to sell your home either. You should, but he'll still be a good neighbor and help you out even if you choose someone else. Contact John, 952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Fair food, fair fun, and fair only savings. By the Yard's Minnesota State Fair sale is here. The sale everyone waits for. For 30 years, they've built premium maintenance-free outdoor furniture right here in Minnesota. It's still the best seat at the fair. Find them in the corner of the 4-H building on Cosgrove and get fair-only pricing now through September 2nd. Or stop by the showrooms, Woodbury, Maple Grove, or Jordan. With By the Yard, life is better outdoors.
At Wealth Enhancement, we believe wealth is in the details. Our team of trusted advisors craft personalized solutions to help you achieve your financial goals. Tune in to the Your Money Show on News Talk 830 WCCO every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. or go to wealthenhancement.com to connect with one of our advisors.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, I don't think any of us like the sight of somebody burning the flag. Today, more discussion about an executive order that came from the president on flag burning. And the Supreme Court has long ruled that flag burning is political speech, and so it's protected. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it always is. You cannot go set a fire in the middle of a public street or a public park. You can't. And the executive order doesn't make flag burning illegal. Even President Donald Trump knows that he cannot do that. But his executive order says, look, I want to prosecute those who desecrate the flag to the fullest extent possible. And so the question is this, and I think, look, if you are a U.S. citizen protesting U.S. policies and you burn the flag, I don't like it. I don't like it. Seems unsafe, seems dangerous, seems like it's probably a misdemeanor. It would be kind of, what do they call it, Dan, when you get a ticket for inappropriate conduct, or I don't know, it's that sort of thing, right? Sometimes I worry that we protect this act. We protect it more than we just permit it. So if you were doing this without a political context, of course you'd be arrested. If you set fire to a giant wooden pallet or a giant picture of Dan Cook, or...
And let's be honest, who hasn't done that?
I mean, you're going to get arrested, right? Like you're at the least going to get stopped. I think what the real motivation here, and some of this comes from the college protests that President Trump seems obsessed with, that when you have people who are visiting our country, who are here on a visa, who are not citizens, look, if you're not an American citizen and you come to this country to protest and make trouble, I don't know, should we be letting you stay here? If I went to Denmark and decided to set fire to the Danish flag, do you think they'd be cool with it? Or you go to France and you do that, they'd be fine? I don't think so. You get sent home. And so I just find myself more receptive to being a little tougher on this issue than the libertarian and the civil liberties person in me would expect. And maybe it's just the emotion. It's the emotion of seeing the flag burning. And it's often the people who are burning it, I don't think are necessarily making much of a political statement. They're doing something for show and for attention. And so this isn't exactly, Alexander Hamilton, writing a screed against the government. So why do we protect it to the same degree? I don't know. I don't know. And so I find, as much as I find myself uncertain about limiting free speech for an administration that says they want to return to freedom.
They're all about free speech.
Except
as long as they like what you're saying. Yeah.
I do think there are certain circumstances where we don't really need to be so protective of what is really not an expression of free speech. That's how I struggle.
I understand that. I think, you wade into difficult waters when you try to assess what someone's motivation is and try to understand, I mean, are there times where it's probably clear that maybe it's not a political thing? Maybe.
Well, why do we give the benefit that we assume it's political?
Because traditionally that's been the argument. And one of the hallmarks of this country is that we're going to let you say, as long as you're not putting other people in danger with your speech, we're going to let you say whatever you want, even if we absolutely hate it, even if we detest what you say.
Right.
And that's long been a hallmark, which is part of the reason, we don't have a ton of time to go off on this tangent, but this lady down in Rochester that said these horrible, vile, racist remarks to people in the park is now being charged with a misdemeanor over her words, which is, to me, as much as I detest what she said, I don't understand making it criminal. And we draw a pretty hard line. I mean, it's the very first amendment to the Constitution. We draw a hard line on this.
Yeah.
That what we fight for in America is your right to say something that I don't like. And that includes, according to the Supreme Court, that includes flag burning. Now, as you said, if you're burning something in a public space and putting other people in danger, should we maybe have a conversation about that? Sure.
Yeah.
But the physical act, as much as I don't like seeing it, the physical act of burning a flag is protected and should be protected. Because if you don't protect the stuff you don't like, then how do you justify protecting the stuff you do?
Well, I think there's a difference between protecting someone's words or protecting someone's play or someone's speech out loud and protecting someone lighting a flag on fire. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
Right.
Because it's unsafe.
It puts other people
others at risk.
Right.
And to me, lighting a fire in public puts people at risk. And we've sort of built this fence around it because it is a political act. And we say, like, well, we're going to allow this. Now, do I think this is one of the biggest problems in the country right now? No, it's not like people are.
But it's in the news,
flags
and so
all
it's
over
something to talk about. Yeah.
A texter saying, what's worse, burning the flag or running around all day in U.S. flag boxers or bikinis? Or Ugel mentions the flip-flops. Yeah, I mean,
that is the hypocrisy of it.
That is desecration, but it's also not like intentional provocation designed to say F you, America, which is pretty much what the burning of the flag is designed
absolutely
to
what
say.
it is.
Another texter says lighting a fire in a public space is one risk and should be prosecuted. Getting punched in the face may be another consequence. I mean, is that protective speech? And John saying if they're burning the flag, why are they even living in the United States? Now, I don't want to go so you can criticize this country. You can hate this country and live here.
Yes. I don't know why you'd want to, but yes, you can.
And I will say, though, if you're not a U.S. citizen and you're here as a guest, well, I and the law has a different standard for your behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have pretty much allowed people who are visiting this country to have the same protections as citizens. And I don't agree with it. 4:30, drive time back in just a minute. Appreciate all the texts. Keep them coming. 651-461-9226. But, and maybe we'll revisit this, but when we come back, we are going to talk to a local restaurant owner who just got her restaurant reviewed in the New York Times. Pretty big deal for Minnesota. Diane Moua joins us next.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
It feels like fall outside already, doesn't it? It's Jason here. And the fall may not be the time of year you think of for doing an at-home landscaping project, but ProTurf wants to change the way you're thinking. ProTurf takes care of my yard. They want to take care of yours. Professional Turf says fall is go time when it comes to planting trees, shrubs, or any sort of perennials. And the reason is that the soil is guaranteed to be a little cooler. So it gives those roots time to establish before the winter comes. And ProTurf also is working on those hardscape projects, those paver patios, the pergolas, the kind of big stuff for the big home renovation. They'll do it up until the ground freezes. So why not? What have you been waiting for? This is the time, and you can avoid the spring rush where everybody's calling professional turf because they know just how dang good these guys are. ProTurf is awesome. If you go to professionalturf.com, you can get a free estimate. They come to your house. They do it in person. Great, great people at 952-469-8680. Family-owned, Minnesota-based. They've been here since the mid-1980s. Reach out to the people who take care of the DeRusha yard. That's ProTurf.
To paraphrase a well-known insurance company, like a good neighbor, WCCO is there. Like, really there. Breaking news? You know it. Weather, of course. Fun discussions? You betcha. Minnesota sports teams? We set the standard in being prematurely disappointed. So, yeah, we're that neighbor. And you'll love us for it, right? News Talk 830 WCCO. We're not like a good neighbor. We are the good neighbor. Talking across fences since 1924.
612 Saturdays are back at Target Field. Enjoy $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food when gates open.
I'm from the 952. Can I enjoy 612 Saturdays?
The 952 is welcome.
I'm from the 218.
218, 651. Everyone is welcome at 612 Saturdays.
I'm from the 313. How about me?
That's Detroit.
Yeah.
Sure. Enjoy the weekend wind-up with 612 Saturdays presented by Carbliss. $6 drinks, $1 snacks, and $2 food. When we're together, the Twins rise as one. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
Ready to elevate your everyday? Quince has the luxe staples insiders swear by, minus the markup. From 100% European linen styles and 14-karat gold jewelry to gorgeous leather bags and elevated home finds, Quince has it all. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Discover everyday luxury without the markup at Quince. Go to quince.com/style upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/style upgrade.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Hey friends, I'm Sharon McMahon, host of Here's Where It Gets Interesting. Each week, I speak with authors, experts, and thought leaders on everything from American history and democracy to how to be a better person on the internet. And don't miss my extremely popular docuseries, which educate you on things you never learned in history class. Follow and listen to Here's Where It Gets Interesting on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Problems on the West Metro. Update brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. It's North 169 and Medicine Lake Road where you find a crash with injuries. Right lane shut down. Traffic essentially is slow as you come up from Valley View all the way up toward the area of Medicine Lake Road. West 94 is jammed up. 169 heading up to 610. If you're on 694 westbound, possible crash working near Central Avenue. It's already slow up on that north side as you come away from Rice Street and over to Highway 100. The Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer that perfectly cooks your food. The Chef IQ probe is inserted into your food and connects to the Chef IQ app to ensure you never under or overcook your food. That's that simple. Order now on chefiq.com with code word WCCO for 15% off. Sherry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Gutman Law, Wills, Trust, and Probate Law at gutmanlaw.com, bringing us Chris Schaefer.
Our fall-like vibe rolls on, mainly clear overnight, falling back to 58. A partly cloudy day tomorrow, the warm one with a high of 79. That's average for this time of year. There may be an isolated shower that pops in the evening, but most of you listening will stay dry. Back to the sunshine Thursday, 75 the high. Expect highs to stay in the 70s right into the weekend.
If you are at the State Fair, it is 75. If you're headed out tonight, it's going to be a nice one on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRusha, he has the eats.
Nobody brings you the Twin Cities restaurant scene like your favorite foodie. Now, Jason explores some of the great chefs, owners, and stories right in our own backyard. Drive Time now transitions into DeRusha Eats.
DeRusha Eats, brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board, and 2 restaurants are making Minneapolis the American capital of Hmong food. The headline in the New York Times came to Minneapolis to review Diane's Place and Vinay, 2 phenomenal restaurants. Diane Moua is the chef and owner of Diane's Place in Northeast Minneapolis, who got reviewed by the New York Times. How about that, Diane?
Hi.
How
Isn't
are
that
you?
Crazy.
It is.
I'm good. How are you?
It is crazy. Is this one of those things? I mean, you grew up on the family farm in Wisconsin. You worked in fine dining restaurants in Minneapolis, dreamed of owning your own place someday. But is this something that you ever visualized or ever thought about?
Never.
Yeah.
Never. I think I'm still like blown away that they reviewed, restaurants in Minnesota. Not that Minnesota's not worthy. We are so worthy, but I'm super excited and happy.
Yeah, the review is great. For Minnesotans, it's difficult to explain that a 2-star restaurant review is good. So you got 2 stars by the New York Times, which means very good, and they're reviewing restaurants all around the country.
Yes.
How does this all go down? Did you know that they were reviewing you when they were there eating?
I didn't, but what's so funny is when she came to dinner, and I actually walked by by her table, and I said, "Has anybody told you that you look like the New York Times food critic?" Like I literally said that, and I walked away, and she didn't confirm or deny. She smiled, and I go in the back, and I take my phone out. I'm like Googling it. I'm like, "Is it her? Is it her?" Because I'm like, it has to be her because I just read all about the 2 new food critics.
Right.
And then the next day she was in again for brunch, and I'm like, oh yeah, it has to be her.
Oh yeah. The double visit within 2 days. You're like, I know what's going on here.
Yeah, could be. I mean, I was like, it can't be a review. It has to be. Maybe she's doing a story on Minnesota restaurants.
Right.
I text some of my friends, like, hey, I think New York Times was here. I'm not sure, but just double check. I'm like, because I'm like, why would she do a review on Diane's Place?
Did you really wonder why they would review your restaurant?
Or a restaurant is so small, so I just never even imagined like a small restaurant like ours would even make a review for New York Times.
Yeah,
I'm really shocked. Yeah.
I am not shocked. Your restaurant is phenomenal. You know how I feel about Diane's Place as we speak with Diane Moua, the owner and chef. It is, what you have done, and I did like the way that in this story, the reviewer described the fact that this is a little bit of a timing and a geographical coincidence that both you and Yia Vang opened Hmong Minnesotan restaurants sort of in the a mile apart or whatever in Northeast.
Yeah.
But it's really
Yeah.
coincidence. It has created some national media attention. But even without the combo of the two of you opening at the same time, what you created is extraordinary, I think. I know you're a perfectionist. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I really do.
I think so. But I think this is so great because the review brings, it brings Hmong cuisine to a national audience. And that makes me very happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that already the New York Times did sort of more of an informative piece about how, Yia and you have sort of the achievement here. It's not that Hmong cooking didn't exist. It's not that Hmong food didn't exist in restaurants, but to be in a restaurant that has full service and a formal bar and a full bar, like it's a restaurant on the level of, a Spoon and Stable or a Meritage, like these kind of fine dining, excellent restaurants that had never been done before all around the country.
Yeah. This is it's great. I mean, Yia is 3 blocks away, and what he's creating there, what I'm creating here is, I'm really happy. I mean, when we put some of the Hmong dishes on the menu, I talked to my Hmong staff, a lot of them, like, can you believe we have this on the menu? Like, it's really exciting to put something that we've always grew up eating that we didn't love so much to turning into something that we love and we want to share, our history, our food, our culture with the rest of the world.
They specifically called out, and the story started with a description of this kind of long braised pork with ginger, this pork belly kind of broken down. Tell us a little bit about that dish and why it's special to you.
So this dish is so special because, my dad always said, like, back in the day, if you were, wealthy back there, it's just well off, right? When you were well off back then, you will have this dish because it means you have livestock. Fast forward to the 90s, I mean, this is you use all the ends and trimmings, all the trotters, but now I'm able to use better cuts of the pork, cook it down with ginger, and it's just one of those very homey dish that, you wait all day for your mom or your grandma to make, and then finally, by the time they're done with it, 8 hours later, you smell like it, and sometimes you just take a bite, but then tomorrow it tastes really good, because now you don't smell like it, because it hasn't been cooking all day. But it's just one of those dishes that, now that we're all older, my mom makes it, and she portions it out, and then gives it to us, and we're all like, yes, make sure mine's bigger than so-and-so, but it's just one of those dishes that we've never really had in a restaurant before, where you can sit and have drinks and have conversation. And this is the first time that we've had this in a full service restaurant. I always tell the Hmong people that come here, like, we've always cooked this at home and you smell like it afterwards. But here, I get to cook it. You guys get to come in and just enjoy it with your friends and family. So it's a really, it's a special dish to me.
Diane Moua is with us. Diane's Place in the New York Times today. More national attention for Minneapolis and for Hmong food. And I was also glad that they mentioned your chicken noodle soup, which is the best chicken noodle soup I've ever had in my life.
Yes.
It's such a unique, it's like magically light and herbal and incredibly like just satisfying and delicious.
Yeah, I think the key to it is, we don't skim, the chicken fat. That's all the good umami stuff. And we don't trim all the fat off, and it's made with everything's made in house. Like the fresh noodles made by hand. We try to buy machines to cut it because we go through so much, but we've not been successful buying any machines to cut this noodle. So cutting it by hand makes it even more special.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say my favorite thing about being in your restaurant is when I see Hmong grandmothers and mothers and teenagers, how excited they are to like take a picture with you. which I've known you for a long time. Like, that is not your personal favorite thing in the world to do, the selfie moment, but it's so meaningful to them to have their food represented in such an extraordinary way.
Oh, I mean, I can say I started off with, I didn't like to take pictures, so now I'm so proud of it too. Like when they ask me, and I'm like, sure, I'm delighted to, because they spent the time to come check out what we're doing here. It's the least I can do. But you see a lot of Hmong females that come in here that are super excited, because of how far the Hmong daughters have come. The wedding dress that's put up, and they're just to remember like us being first generation, to see how far we've come. It's truly an amazing moment. And this New York Times thing marks, this year is the 50th year that Hmong has settled in the U.S. It's like, what a perfect year to be in New York Times too. 50th year, Hmong people being on the map for Hmong cuisine. It's great.
So proud of you. You deserve all of it. Diane Moua with this incredible feature in the New York Times. And now, is it going to be impossible to get a reservation? Are all these New Yorkers going to be coming in?
Let's hope so. I mean, walk-ins are always welcome. We have some bar and rail space that we don't take reservations. So first come, first serve.
Very good.
Reservation, check our website out.
Awesome. Yeah, the website is Diane's Place, MN, right?
Yep, mn.com.
Diane's Place, mn.com. You can check that for reservations. But Minnesotans sleep on the walk-in to the bar move. So walk in, the brunch is phenomenal. The dinner feels like you're getting an experience with, Diane and her family. It's a pretty special restaurant. I'm glad to see everybody else getting hip to it, Diane. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Diane Moua from Diane's Place right in Minneapolis. It is, put it on your list. If you haven't been, it is awesome. 449. That's DeRusha Eats, brought to you by our friends at Minnesota Pork. We'll break. When we come back, Twins baseball, the temp of the team. Plus, do we know what's happened with the Minnesota Vikings, the cuts they've made? Do you want Adam Thielen back? We'll touch on that in just a minute.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I did not put on the pink pig ears. I didn't do it. I've done it in the past. It's Jason here. For my friends at the Minnesota Pork Board, I absolutely love Minnesota pork, as you know. And if you are out at the State Fair, you have got to stop in at the Oink booth. You got to go see the biggest boar at the fair. How big do you think the biggest boar at the fair is? What would you guess? 902 pounds. How big is it? 902 pounds. That's one big pig. That is one ugly pig as well. I'll tell you that much. But it's great to walk through that building, talk to the family farmers, talk to the kids, talk to the second, third, fourth generation of farmers who are making a difference in Minnesota. So the weekend's coming. Long weekend. Let's make Minnesota pork a part of it. Taste what pork can do for you, whether it's ribs, it's brats, it's sausages, it's pork chops. Get to that grocery store, the butcher shop, and let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight. Oh, yeah.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
Advantage Seamless Gutters is now Advantage Home Pros. New look, same pros. Still locally owned and now taking care of all your gutter and roofing needs. Don't spend your weekends on a ladder cleaning your gutters when you could be spending time with family and planning that summer trip. Trust your local gutter pros, Advantage Home Pros. Now your local custom roofing pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials, our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
It's State Fair time again, and that means awesome new products at great prices. And Mini Leaf is getting in on the fun. Right now, Mini Leaf is offering a buy two, get one free on all products. So buy 2 Sleep Night gummies, get one free. Buy 2 Triple Diamond Pain Cream pods, get one free. You get the gist. Mini Leaf's products are of exceptional quality and 100% natural. Just go to minileaf.com to check out all of their products. MINELEAF.com, the home of Minnesota's best legal products, and also the sponsor of the Doobie Dabbler, happening September 5th and 6th at Seavers Festival Grounds in Shakopee. Thanks to our friends at Minileaf. Remember, buy 2, get 1 free at minileaf.com.
Minileaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Representative Tom Emmer stopped a massive tax hike by voting to make the 20% small business tax deduction permanent. This means Minnesota's small businesses can grow, hire, and invest in our communities. Visit smallbusinessdeduction.com and thank Representative Emmer for protecting America's small businesses. Paid for by the National Federation of Independent Business.
Most people have no idea there's an invisible gap in their home's protection. This invisible threat is house stealing. Con artists pick a house. They transfer the deed of this house into their name by obtaining the forms, using the fake IDs, and filing the paperwork with proper authorities. Now they own the home. Protect your home from this invisible gap. Check on your home's title right now at HomeTitleLock.com. Be sure to use promo code RADIO and they will send you a complete title scan of your home's title. And your first 30 days of triple lock title protection is free. HomeTitleLock.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Brought to you by American Rare Coin and Collectibles. Find them at AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. North 169, Medicine Lake Road, crash still working. Right lane remains closed. It is jammed up as you come up from Cedar Lake Road. 494 northbound, watching slowdowns there, approaching Highway 62 to 394. 94 westbound slows, 169 to Weaver Lake Road. And over on the east side, you'll find 35 east slow, both directions between Roseland and 94. If you've inherited valuable coins, gold, silver, or jewelry, where do you turn? American Rare Coin and Collectibles. For over 30 years, American Rare Coin has been purchasing valuable coin and precious metals collections with honesty, transparency, and immediate payment. American Rare Coin and Collectibles.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Choose Herbert and Gerbert's when you want fresh ingredients for a perfect sandwich like the Italian Flash or the Turkey Avocado Norma. Funky names are full of flavor. And don't forget our hearty soups and chili. Stop by or order ahead online. HerbertandGerberts.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, CCO forecast brought to you by Herbert and Gerbert's. Fresh ingredients on sandwiches tonight, 58. Open the windows and enjoy some good sleeping weather tomorrow. Partly cloudy, high of 79 when you come visit us at the Minnesota State Fairs. Thursday looks pretty good too, 75. This is layering weather. If you're watching on the live stream, you know I'm living my best life right now. It is 75 on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha resumes now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's take the current temp of your Minnesota Twins. Brought to you by Chef IQ Sense. Save 15% with code word WCCO at checkout now at chefiq.com.
Well, the temp of the Minnesota Twins after getting shellacked 10-4 is ice cold. Ice cold.
It's a couple of rough starts for Joe Ryan now. I'm starting to get a little worried he's not right.
2-8 in our last 10 games.
Not good.
We are we still have a ways to go to be in White Sox territory, but
it's not as far to go as we used to be.
We're 11 games ahead of them, but we're 18 games back from the Tigers.
Yeah. Which is no longer a realistic thing to worry about. But
still,
yeah,
it's an indicative of how cold
at this point it's about, where are you putting yourself in terms of draft position. So
may as well tank. Let's go.
I mean,
it's all right. try some new things, meet some new players.
Get the young
see
kids
what
in
we
there.
have.
Let them make their mistakes now
Yep.
in a season that's lost anyway. Let them learn from those mistakes, and then hopefully.
Well, who's going to the Padres game this weekend?
A lot of people apparently.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill won the tickets on Twist Ticket Tuesday, so
yeah,
he's heading, and a lot of other folks. Because that's a popular series apparently, ticket wise. So
is that so?
that's what I hear.
All right,
that's what I'm being. People are telling me.
A lot of people are saying. Congrats to Bill. Max Brosmer made the Vikings.
How about
squad.
that? Good for him.
It's a cool story.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
He had a very good season as a Gopher quarterback, but an undrafted free agent. Do you know, I was reading at the Star Tribune how much money he makes as an undrafted quarterback. He is guaranteed at signing $246,000.
I mean, that's not a bad chunk of change.
It's a lot better than $0, but it's a lot different from big-time quarterback money, right?
But I mean, you make the roster, that has to go up, and then
and then some stuff.
We'll see what happens. Now again, I mean, great story, good for him, happy for him. If he plays a minute during the regular season, things have gone horribly
It's
wrong
not great.
for the Vikings.
He's number 3 on the depth chart. Carson Wentz,
yes, will be QB2.
Was traded for QB2. So the 53-man roster is set. No real surprises there, but that's kind of the cool story.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
You know that I get my dermatology services. I get a full body skin checkup. I've had stuff. I had something removed right from my brain, right from the top of my head. And I know a lot of you have said for a long time, Jason, you better get your head examined. And I went to Tureen Dermatology. It's Jason here from my friends at Tureen Dermatology. Dr. Mohiba Tureen is amazing. You will love her. She is awesome. She has created something really special. And right now you can get one of 25 board-certified providers at 9 locations from Roseville to Faribault to Hudson, Lakeville, Lindstrom, Farmington, Eagan. They're all over. Go to Hudson, Wisconsin. TureenDermatology.com is where you go. TAREEN dermatology.com. They'll see you within 3 weeks. Amazing. Within 3 weeks at TureenDermatology.com.
We are Minnesota. We are News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app.
Daniel. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
President Trump has been pushing against crime in Washington. The National Guard began carrying weapons. He says to seek the death penalty for those who commit murders in D.C.
That's a very strong preventative. You have everybody that's heard it agrees with it.
1/2 hour, 3.
I don't know if we're ready for it in this country.
Okay, great.
Where you have it, it is. We have no choice.
Trump is still threatening the National Guard's in other cities like Chicago and New York. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she said this to Trump when she spoke with him about the possibility.
Mr. President, I can give you all the data you need.
He was out there.
Crime is down. It's working. Our policies are working.
Israel's military says an early investigation into a strike yesterday that killed at least 20 people, including 5 journalists, shows they were trying to target a camera in Gaza that it says was being used by Hamas for surveillance. Israel has blocked foreign and Israeli reporters from entering the Gaza Strip since the start of the 22-month-old war. Thousands of acres have burned in central and northern California, but our Carter Evans says firefighters are getting the upper hand.
The good news is in Napa Valley, where I am now, there is not a lot of smoke, and that's good. Fire is actually on the mountainside and moving the other direction. There are
I was
a lot
in
of leaders on
Willamette
that side,
where
though,
they had a bunch of
and they are
smoke
concerned
painted
about the
lime,
smoke.
and
Smoke
let me
can
tell you,
certainly
you
affect the grapes.
Days after
Yes.
21 dogs were found dead at a boarding facility in upstate New York, the owners are now facing charges. Officials say the owners of Anastasia's Acres boarding facility failed to provide adequate water and proper ventilation for the dogs. President Trump said again today that gas is under $2 a gallon, but it does not appear to be true.
Oh!
Inaccurate claim numerous
Homadi Sabri.
You have gasoline.
My daughter is an inspector for the city of
$1.98
Minneapolis.
yesterday in a couple of states.
But Gas Buddy hasn't found that price anywhere. It tracks gas prices at 150,000 gas
I think
stations
so, and they're
and gets
really
12
crappy,
million
crappy
reports every
land.
week. We asked the site's Patrick DeHaan about the $2 figure.
We have not yet caught up with any stations that have sold gasoline below that $2 a gallon mark.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
She writes about love, loss, and relationships.
And today he's doing his press conference, and he goes,
But
"Well,
now a
mayor
love
doesn't
story
shape
as
up, I
Taylor
might have
Swift
to
and
bring
Travis
Trump
Kelce are engaged. Singer and NFL player
Yeah,
confirmed
that
in an
will
Instagram
that will
post with the
solve
words,
all the
"Your
problems."
English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." The photos show Kelce on one knee in a garden. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Cloudy skies, 75 degrees at 5:03. Good afternoon. I'm Susie Jones. One person is dead, several others injured after a shooting in South Minneapolis.
Quiet afternoon on Lake Street suddenly turned into the scene of a crime when a gunman armed with a high-powered rifle opened fire on a group of people. Police Chief Brian O'Hara described the attack as completely sickening and said they believe at least one of the victims was directly targeted.
And certainly it's obvious from the injuries that people suffered here, just the significant damage that those types of rounds can do to the human body. It's gross.
He said police are following strong leads after the gunman fled the scene in a vehicle. All 6 surviving victims are expected to recover, though 3 are still in critical condition. Authorities are urging anyone with information about the incident that took place outside a Catholic high school to come forward. In South Minneapolis, I'm Taylor Rivera. News Talk 830 WCCO.
A showdown between the city of Minneapolis and a property owner who has allowed homeless people to camp on his parking lot on East Lake Street. Minneapolis Health Department Commissioner Damon Chaplin says the camp was cited for a number of violations, including a lack of water and sanitation facilities, plus improperly stored garbage and drug paraphernalia.
This is not the way we want our residents to live in the city of Minneapolis. And so it's a visual inspection of the property. We can see and take pictures of the property. We identified the sources of filth.
The landowner, Homelessness, opened up the camp early July and says he's being targeted for doing what the city won't.
I am here just for the homeless. I believe they're abused. And the reason they're here is they've been kicked around a lot.
Mayor Jacob Price called a closed-door meeting tomorrow with the council to talk about potential legal action. Well, a record-breaking day at the Minnesota State Fair Monday. Just over 145,000 people attended, breaking the old record in 2017 by about 500 people. So far, the Great Minnesota Get-Together has drawn close to 820,000 people. Speaking of the fair, usually the fair means the start of ragweed pollen season, and this year it's here with gusto.
Yeah, that's pretty common, and that's why this is the time of year for the next 6 weeks until we have our first frost. Pollen counts are pretty high.
That's Dr. Gary Berman with asthma and allergy specialist in Minneapolis. He says most people can find relief with over-the-counter medications and nose sprays. If not, he says it's important to see a doctor in the event that allergy shots may be necessary. But
I heard complaining about it.
Please don't go to
Making
Jason
sure
DeRusha for any kind
everybody
of love and support.
in the world knows about your allergy is also something that can help you feel better.
That's true.
I've heard.
My eyes are watering.
Oh my God.
It came on fast.
TV news and radio news people must be disproportionate allergy sufferers because this coverage is always nonstop every year.
We might even do this again in about 2 weeks.
Why not? Why not? And the story's always the same. Well, it's not really worse than it was before. It's like, yeah, we just bellyache more. That's all.
Bellyache. I love that word. But it is a pain in the butt.
I bet. Yes, I know.
You don't have allergies.
No,
clearly.
if I did, I would be complaining
Yes,
about it
you would.
nonstop.
I know you would.
I admit the hypocrisy.
Wow, there you heard that here. Save that. I admit the hypocrisy. All right, WCCO News Time is 5:06. We'll do traffic and weather after this.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO.
I'm
starting
working on it, truck. Okay, fine.
For a traffic report brought to you by Postman Law. You will find your slowdowns along Snelling Avenue. No big surprise between Larpenteur and Como. Como Avenue is jammed up as you make way either direction between Snelling and Raymond Avenue. So get ready for some slowing down there. Most of the park and ride lots are full.
How long is the Instagram bite?
Available in Spearman, though, but the lots, the fairgrounds themselves, those are open. If you're traveling 94 westbound, got some slowdowns there, Riverside and 694 going there both directions between Lexington and 252. Injured, call 844 Postman. If you've been hurt in an accident, don't wait. Call 844 Postman today. With over $3 billion recovered by their clients, they're here for you 24/7. There's promise, Postman delivers. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to the Canopy.
Caroline.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And it is brought to you this hour by the Canopy Group. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Another quiet night as our temperatures fall back to the upper 50s. Mix of sun and clouds tomorrow. This will be our warmest day with a high in the upper 70s. Now, there could be an isolated shower that pops in the evening. Better chance of that in western Wisconsin. Partly cloudy Thursday, a little cooler, high in the mid 70s. We stay dry right into Labor Day weekend, and we'll keep those highs just below average in the 70s.
All right, thanks, Chris. Right now, some clouds, rather partly to mostly cloudy, 74 degrees at News Talk 830 WCCO.
If it's trending, we're already on it. News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense, too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Once again, here's Jason DeRusha.
No friend to the allergy community. That's me. It's good to have you with us on Drive Time. Tuesday, we're in studio. We'll be back at the State Fair tomorrow and be there for the next couple of days. Kind of nice to break up the thing for us, get a little back to our home base, but we look forward to seeing you and make sure you stop by. Between 3 and 6, we got a full show tomorrow, right? Yeah, between 3 and 6, live at the State Fair. What? You looking confused?
No, I'm trying to think. I think it might be a 5:30 pregame again tomorrow.
The show will stop when the button is hit.
When we stop, when we're good and ready to finish, that's when we're finished. It's a Twins pregame at 5:30.
Twins at Toronto tonight. That pregame at 5:30. But let's get going. It is time for the lead.
The headlines you might have missed without missing a beat. This is your fast pass through the biggest and most impactful stories of the day. Welcome to the DeRusha Hour headlines, starting with the lead.
And we start just with a quick note to let you know we'll continue monitoring the breaking news. 7 people shot in a brazen middle of the day, just absolute execution style attack. High-powered weapon, 30 rounds. Police chief saying it was like a weapon of war. All of this erupting. Really, what is infuriating is that as we take 2 steps forward, then you end up taking 3 steps back in something like this. Lake Street has done so much to turn around. It is such a vibrant corridor of small business ingenuity, of real American activity. every different culture represented. It's a rainbow of cultures out there. You've got Cristo Rey High School, which is such a beacon, incredible Jesuit high school, all of that to have 30 rounds fired, so many people hurt, 6 hurt, 1 dead. And let's hope part of why, if you've heard helicopters in South Minneapolis today, it is the manhunt for a killer. And let's hope they get him. Next up is a story that has been really captivating everybody's attention. It is the engagement that maybe we thought was coming. I don't know. I didn't expect it today. You got to get it out there before the start of the NFL season, I suppose, is news that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged. And so we wanted to reach out to the person that I know who is the senior Taylor Swift correspondent for WCCO Television. Caroline Cummings is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. You are the expert. You are the OG, right?
I am, and I love that you leaned into the promotional title I got for one night and one night only when Taylor Swift was here for the Eras Tour in Minneapolis, but it is a title I hold dear.
You are a political reporter, generally speaking, but you bought your first Taylor Swift album at what age?
I was 11. It was 2006, and I forced my dad to take me to the area Target in suburban Washington, D.C., where I grew up, to purchase that album. And it is, I like to consider it the ancient text. You know, it has informed so much. It has informed so much of my life because I've been a fan ever since. So I'm now 30 years old, for reference. So
just
it's been
to be
a long
clear,
journey.
yes. So what was your reaction when you heard the news?
Oh my gosh, I dropped my phone. I was like, freaking out. But I did see this coming. I felt as though there was no way Taylor Swift was going on just a boyfriend's podcast to announce her album. It had to be the real deal. She is very careful about what media she chooses to partake in the last decade or so. She's done very limited interviews and such. So for her to do that, I'm like, this is endgame.
I want
not to quote one of her own songs, but yeah.
Caroline, I want you to hear CBS News reporter Olivia Rinaldi as she found out the news of the engagement.
Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Come back to me. She just posted it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it's huge. The ring is ginormous. This is so exciting. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram.
Should we be concerned, Caroline, that America's political reporters are so wrapped up in the engagement of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
I'd like to think that, we women can be of multitudes. We can like many things. I deeply enjoy reporting on politics and government, but I also enjoy Taylor Swift. And I do know Olivia, and she is a stellar reporter and clearly a woman after my own heart with that reaction. It made me smile.
Me too. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I think the reaction that people are having, you know what? We need a little love in the world. We need a little love in our lives. And I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. And she's obviously been singing about love and fairy tales for quite a long time. So for her to get her own happy ending was so happy. And it feels so weird to be so excited for someone you literally have never met. But for all of her fans, I think we're just overjoyed. But also it's such a fun moment to, see the internet melt down and all the memes. It's just a nice little monoculture moment they're so hard to find these days.
No doubt. Really good. Well, fun to have you back as senior Taylor Swift correspondent for at least one more moment here on CCO Radio.
Yeah, I'll milk it for all it's worth, Jason. You can have me back weekly, and I'll give you my dissertation
all right.
Taylor Swift as the songbird of our generation.
I mean, we need to analyze the ring already. I've been getting PR pitches from local jewelers who want to weigh in on the ring.
I love it. I can't wait to see the elongated cushion, smash records when all the brides that are yet to come. Too bad my husband already proposed to me and we're already married.
You already had your fairy tale moment for sure. Caroline Cummings from Channel 4. Thanks, Caroline. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's so great.
Next up in the lead, a mayoral candidate for the city of Minneapolis had his car stolen, not for the first time, not for the second time, but for the third time. Here is what Jazz Hampton posted on Instagram.
Last night, my car was stolen from right there in front of my house. My name is Jazz Hampton. I'm running for mayor of Minneapolis. And it's actually the third time our car has been stolen from in front of our house. And this video isn't going to be just about that situation and what it feels like as a resident, but also talking about what I plan to do about this as mayor.
So to find out more, I talked to Jazz Hampton, who joins us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline, because Jazz, you responded to this with a lot more compassion than I think I would have if my car were stolen in front of my Minneapolis for the third time.
It definitely in the moment is frustrating, especially, when it happened this past time. It was my daughter's birthday, and so the birthday party was happening at the time. But here's the thing, I'm in a position where I've seen a lot of life. I've seen a lot of people going through a lot of difficult times, and I don't think anyone who's committing these crimes is inherently a really bad person. I think they're just not seeing opportunities that are otherwise present, and I think it's a good moment to realize that we have a little work to do within our city.
Are there larger lessons that you take from looking at, car thefts has been up and down, and I think, it's trending in the right direction, but compared to where we were a couple of years ago, I think we still have some major issues there. What are the public safety sort of things that you would like to implement if you were elected?
Yeah, I think we all can see from our charter and from with our own eyes that we need more officers in the city of Minneapolis. And when we have more, we can ensure that we have teams that are focused on this work. And if there's already teams focusing on it, then they can do a little better and have more support in that way. But I think that's just one part of the entire ecosystem, right? We have to have better programming for young folks to have different and better things to be doing, especially during the summer. We have to have better places for folks to work so they can feel like they don't have to resort to these types of activities. Education, we have to ensure that people are in school and doing a really good job. It isn't just a crime issue. This is a holistic city issue that we need to look at from that perspective as well.
You committed to going to the court hearing and offering the person who stole one of your family's cars an internship at your company. Why did you do that?
When I was growing up, I'm the youngest of four, and I grew up in a 1,300 square foot house. My parents took in one young man from North Minneapolis. His name was Cedric. And he was going to stay the weekend. He ended up staying for his entire high school career. After Cedric, it was Deontay and Rodney and Leon and Craig and Jamal and Jamar and 10 young black men that didn't have a place to be consistently. And they lived in my house, and I watched their life change. And I think that's one version that I've seen firsthand. And I know that those opportunities presented to more people can yield better results. And this isn't because I'm running for mayor. I actually have a text of the screenshot. I offered the same thing back in 2024 when this happened to me. I texted a prosecutor in Hennepin County and said the same thing. It's just how I've lived my whole life and what I've seen. And I know that we can do great work like that here in Minneapolis still going forward.
Well, I think you're a better man than a lot of us where we would not respond with that. But there is no question, especially as you look at the scenario of car thefts, that so often it's a joyride, right? They're not even stealing the car to keep the car. So it does give me hope that there is a better path than just lock them up. That's just not going to solve the problem.
We have the highest population of individuals that are incarcerated or connected to the criminal justice system. And we aren't the best at preventing crime in the world. I think there's a lot of things we have to do. And I want to be clear, I always want people to be held accountable. I believe that the criminal justice process in that way can do it. But there are more than just putting people in jail, or it shouldn't be where we stop the process. There should be a lot more done. That's what restoring should actually look like in our city.
Jazz Hampton, I appreciate it. Thanks, Jazz.
Thanks so much for your time. Have a good one.
That is the lead. DeRusha Hour page 2 is coming up in just a minute as we lead you up to Minnesota Twins pregame right here on CCO. The Twins in Toronto. The Stanley Cup came to St. Cloud. How power hungry is artificial intelligence, and how much money on the line for the Powerball? Is it enough for you to buy a ticket? We'll talk about that next.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Chris Lindahl is doing more and more guaranteed cash offers than he has been doing in a long time. It's Jason here for my friend Chris Lindahl. You know the arms wide out. You see the billboards everywhere. I was on the way to the state fair yesterday, and I saw a billboard that said, cash for your home, pronto. And Chris was holding 2 pronto pups. I thought that was pretty good. Creative advertising is only part of it. It's an efficient, highly tuned machine that gets you out of your home into cash money and does it fast. Chris told me the reason the guaranteed cash offer is so hot right now is the speed. Many people are in a family situation. Maybe you inherit a home. Maybe you have a job change. Maybe there's a death in the family. Some sort of circumstance makes you want to just get out of your house. You don't want to do renovations. You don't have time to fix it up. You don't have time to deal with uncertainty in the real estate market. What you do have is a guarantee. Chris Lindahl guarantees he'll get you to the finish line on a closing of your new home. He'll get you out of there in 2 days. Up to 2 days. That is so fast. So get that fresh start and get it fast. ChrisLindahl.com is where you go to get that guaranteed cash offer. Check it out today. No obligation. Go to ChrisLindahl.com.
Millions of Americans use credit cards to purchase goods every day. The Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates put the secure transactions you rely on at risk, leaving you vulnerable to hackers and foreign cybercriminals that want your data. Hackers win. You lose. Guard your card before it's too late. Tell Congress your data security is not for sale and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
Paid for by Electronic Payments Coalition.
Grown-ups, aren't Sundays more fun without, can I have screen time? Can I have a snack? I don't want to go to Grandma's. It smells funny. And I'm bored. Bored is impossible on Kids Day at Target Field. The gate 30 for lawn is turned into Bullseye's backyard. Kids' meals are half off. Kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game. And Grandma's invited too. Enjoy your weekend wind-up with Sunday Kids Days, presented by Target. Join in at twins.com/tickets.
Heading out for the weekend? Lucky you.
Don't forget to stop at Thieler Meats of Piers for some melt-in-your-mouth moments.
High quality beef.
Fresh and smoked sausages and brats.
Home smoked bacon.
All natural chicken.
A great selection of fish and seafood.
Visit us at thielermeats.com.
We've got the cuts that'll make your meal.
Call to order ahead and pick up on your way to the lake.
You'll be the hit of the party.
No meals complete without Thieler Meats
of Piers.
You know that feeling when you're about to cut into a juicy steak and hope it tastes as perfect as it looks? Well, worry no more. The Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer that eliminates under or overcooking your chicken, fish, or meat, whether on the stovetop, oven, or grill. The probe is inserted into your food and connected wirelessly to an app. Once you select your desired doneness, the app alerts you when to take the steaks off the grill or the turkey out of the oven. It's that simple. Order one now on chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country.
For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
DeRusha Shower News headlines as we get you ready for Twins pregame on the home of the Twins, WCCO. How about we start with some hockey, though? Because the Stanley Cup has made a trip to St. Cloud. I mean, is this the only way we're going to get a Stanley Cup in Minnesota? I hope not.
Not saying, we're just saying.
I hope not. Star Tribune's Jenny Berg with a really great story of Florida Panther Nate Schmidt, who hoisted the trophy again on Monday in front of hundreds of fans in central Minnesota. Instead of wearing his jersey, he's got a T-shirt and shorts on and a big old grin, looking so happy. What I love about this is Nate Schmidt had choices. He could have brought the Stanley Cup back to Mariucci in the University of Minnesota, where he played for the Gophers. Now, he was signed by the Washington Capitals in 2013, but he said Monday afternoon, I have so many great memories here. At the end of the day, it just had to be in St. Cloud. This is where I grew up. This is what shaped me to be the player that I am. He played with St. Cloud Youth Hockey Association, got called up to varsity at St. Cloud Cathedral when he was in 8th grade. So good on the coach. Cathedral knew that they had somebody good. Signed by the Capitals in 2013, selected by Vegas in the expansion draft. He helped the Golden Knights reach the finals. Landed with Florida in July of 2024 in time to get to the Stanley Cup. Pretty cool. Now he's signed a contract with Utah, but that's part of the tradition. Last time it was in St. Cloud was 2006. Brett Hedigan brought it at that time. How power hungry is artificial intelligence? Is it really as bad as sort of all the buzz is?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Washington Post. I love how they, in their climate coach column, they sort of check some of these things we just assume to be true. And the reality is, ChatGPT is certainly not as bad as some of the other things we do when it comes to energy use. Remember when there was this panic over streaming video, like, oh, all the Netflix we're watching is going to use all this electricity and blah, 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 and CO2 and on and on and on. So they did an analysis of this. And yeah, like AI consumes more energy than Google, but one day of typical AI questions is 0.003% of your average annual carbon footprint. Probably don't need to worry about it. Eating a hamburger has a much bigger impact. And I'm very in favor of hamburgers. Are you feeling lucky tonight? All right, the Powerball is at almost the level where I would consider buying a ticket. $815 million. I'm kind of like, it's got to be a bill or I'm not that excited. 815 is the 7th largest jackpot in the game's history. Somebody in Minnesota won $100,000 on Saturday in, I think, Roseville. So pretty cool. Good luck. If you play, the drawing is tomorrow, so you have a little time. Let's send some luck to your Minnesota Twins. That's next on CCO.
The following is a presentation of Odyssey Sports.